You see these banners behind me, and you're likely wondering, what are they doing there? Because they've never been there before. These 5 banners are banners that encapsulate a phrase, or they reflect on words, certain words in a certain phrase that I'd like to teach to you beginning today and in the weeks that will follow. You need to know that some of the words on these banners, if you can see them, are in the English language, and some of the words in these banners are in the Latin language. I don't know if we have anyone here who's an expert in Latin. I am certainly not, but I have figured out how to say at least this much. And we're going to begin working this morning from this side in red, and we're going to go to these first 3 banners. Now, these remaining 2 banners we'll come back to in the weeks that follow, but I would encourage you, maybe later, grab your mobile phone and take a photo of them, and begin to just reflect on them throughout the course of the week. And zero in on them when you get that picture and look at what they're actually saying. But this morning, I just want to teach you the first 3. And so can you repeat after me if you would, and do so with a little bit of energy and a little bit of enthusiasm, because then that will make me so happy. I could have said that would make God really happy, but I felt that was pouring it on a little too much. So this phrase here in the Latin is sola scriptura. Very good, class. And then in the English, it means scripture alone. You prefer the Latin, perhaps. Okay, sola scriptura. Now, sola, S-O-L-A, is Latin for what? Okay, close. For solo, that's good. We actually get our English word solo from the Latin word sola. But I prefer to think of it as alone. So sola means alone in Latin. Sola means alone. So therefore, the English would be scripture alone. What this means is that the only source of truth for us in terms of answering the question, how is a person saved, is from scripture alone. Sola scriptura. Only the scripture, only the Bible answers the question correctly. How is a person saved from their sin? Secondly, we have this next banner, which is in a beautiful yellow color, perhaps gold. And this says, sola gratia. Sola gratia. Sola gratia. And that means grace alone. Grace alone. Thank you, Adonia, for getting us started. How are we saved from our sin? By grace alone. This is what Ephesians 2, verses 8 and 9 says, correct? For, says Paul, by grace you have been saved. Sola gratia. All right. And then this third one, the sola goes to solus Christus. Can you say that? Solus Christus. Solus for alone, and Christus for Jesus Christ. Christ alone. Christ alone. Only Jesus Christ saves us from our sin. That's what we learned from the response of Paul and Silas. That's what we learned from the response of Jesus to the crowd. So perhaps we could say this together, just the first 3 in the Latin first. Let's do all 3 in the Latin first. Exactly. In the weeks to follow, sola fide. In the weeks to follow, sola Deo gloria. This would be faith alone. This would be God's glory alone. I believe that in 4 weeks' time, when we get this learned, you are going to know Romans chapter 1, verses 15 through 17. And more importantly, you're going to know what the gospel is. And when you know what the gospel is, you will know how you are saved from your sin, and you will know how every single person is saved from their sin. And when you know that, you will go out to tell them.